and welcome back to the LEC Summer Playoffs as we see, I believe, Team BDS sitting outside and playing outside. Oh my god, yeah, okay, Farmers. I mean, I hope they can join the studio for second game, honestly, because from what Niski told us at the beginning of the series, he was expecting a one-sided one on the side of BDS. None of that happened. None of it.
MDK came out swinging. It reminded me of the MDK of Winter, where they're just completely popping off and being creative all over the map. Goon squad of Alvaro and Elyoya seem to be back for this game. They've been having a great game, to be honest. They've been the catalyst of everything that MDK needed them to be.
Yeah, I think they also just kind of understood how these two compositions had to play out, especially because of the general lack of hard engage on the side of Mad Lions. They realized, okay, we can't just throw our bodies at the play. It's actually better for us to just let them walk into Zyra, into Braum, look for picks instead, and then work off numbers advantages. That's how you win the fights with this kind of composition.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't need hard engage if you're just sneaking in the bush like this and just waiting for the opponents to come at you. But let's review the early game from Mad Lions here, maybe to see where they made the break in the game. Because for me, it came from the top side. Elyoya and Myrwn working great together.
Exactly, because Myrwn was having a little bit of a rough game, to be honest. He's been the focus of early ganks. He's been struggling 1v1 in the lane. But right now, as I said, the Goon squad is here. Elyoya and Alvaro pulling up and just helping Myrwn, because Myrwn is a very, very important member of this team squad and everything that MDK needs him to be, and he's falling behind in the 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you think back to Winter as well. You brought up Mad Lions in Winter. A lot of the success they found was through Myrwn, and then a draft like this, if you don't manage to get picks, well then hopefully you can rely on a strong side lane like Camille. It didn't always quite get to that point, but of course, getting up there to ensure that they've got this strong Camille to try and enable some of those team fights or a strong side lane was definitely a core condition for them to play to.
Regardless, exactly what he said. When Myrwn was being put behind earlier in the split, when MDK was in their slump, he was one of the main reasons as to why MDK was underperforming. And right now, MDK seems to have gotten this second win, because they always say, why are you playing good? It's because we have the confidence and we're going with the flow and everything. But now they realize that going with the flow means enabling Myrwn, because this 1v1 matchup, as I said, it is quite rough. But right now, they enabled him, you know. League of Legends is not 1v1 game. You can have friends. Not a lot of us do, you know. But, yeah, when you have friends like Elyoya and Alvaro on your side, you don't need more to have a great game.
And that's the thing, it's often going to come from Elyoya enabling the rest of his teammates, maybe creating space for them and allowing them to actually get out of lane in a good state here. And I know that when I've talked to him in interviews, he was telling me how much he's helping them finding their strength and finding the team cohesion that's going to make them win games. Do you feel like that's what we saw today? And for now, Jamada.
Yeah, I mean, in some of these fights especially, right, I think this initial engage here from BDS looks super promising. They've got the Nautilus on top of the Zeri, but everything is effectively stifled by all of the Zyra's kit, all of Elyoya's kit. And you see it time and time again throughout a lot of these plays. BDS are diving, Elyoya's finding really high value ultimates or roots, and it's just preventing a lot of the advance from BDS.
What I like to pinpoint as well is that in the previous team fight, Twitch had a hard time hitting, but right now Braum is on cooldown, and now he's just ratatata all over them, and this team fight seemed to be really lost. The game was really bad for BDS, but all of a sudden they get this random 3-4-3 in the enemy base. The game stalls a bit, but sadly it is not enough.
I mean, that's the thing, like, we didn't see Twitch in ages. I was expecting the rat to XDD a bit more on the Rift, and it didn't happen, actually. So not enough time to scale, not enough tools to do so.
I think it's a hard game to play as Twitch, right? The Twitch is an old school, well, I say old school, Zeri's not super old as a champion, but that was kind of one of the first innovative picks that came out to try and counter the Zeri. When you've got to deal with the Braum shield, when in general you can't engage, so you don't really get to open up frequently without getting blown up in response, it's very difficult to play that out as ice.
I just think the team fight, not the team fight, excuse me, the team comp was a little bit janky from BDS, because you have Taliyah and the Twitch. I feel like there's not enough, you know, lockdown for the Twitch to just pulverize the team fight, because usually you have the champions like, or maybe a Sejuani as well, where you keep everything static. And also the Braum pick just did a lot of disservice to the Twitch, because he just couldn't find any good windows to, you know, pull the trigger.
You want to take a look at what we saw from BDS? Then we had a checklist here, and I think it's gonna become, I don't know, maybe a list of things they need to do again. Yeah, a to-do list, I would say, here in this playoffs.
In all fairness, they hit a fair few of the boxes.
All right.
We can delete a couple of them, to be honest, from this game.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We definitely can.
The objective control,
Ice champion, yeah, Ice champion pool diversity. definitely hit the mark.
We
like
saw that,
Twitch,
yeah,
right?
but with the objective control, team fighting, it just wasn't it, you know.
Yeah.
They brought a lot into the series. I was quite happy with what they've been cooking, but I feel like they've been caught off guard by, you know, MDK's decisiveness, and to be honest, it's a little bit unconventional how they've been playing with the Goon squad, because you don't really expect the Zyra and the Braum to just be everywhere on the map.
And they stay on blue side this time, so I feel like they have something going. But for me, it makes sense that we know that BDS, if they go back to basics, they go front to back compositions, and they don't get carried away or I don't know, maybe surprised the way they did right now. We know that they have the tools to win game like this. So staying on blue side here, Jamada. After having lost game 1, what does that say about BDS to you, and what you're looking forward to in game 2?
I mean, I think for me it says they're not over displeased with the draft. There's just certain small aspects of it, i.e. the Braum existing when Twitch is on the map, right? Maybe a different AD carry. Not that Twitch was the problem, but it's that Twitch doesn't get to play the game. Maybe a Jinx does, or maybe an Aphelios does, right? It's any one of those kind of picks for Ice where you can hyper carry later on.
To be honest, laning phase did go very well for all three lanes.
Yeah.
They got the kill on the Twitch early in the bot on the Zeri, excuse me, in the bot lane. Mid, I think, got a solo kill. Top lane 1v1 was always 500 to 1000 gold ahead. Everything went well. The skeleton for the draft was good, but I think they need to change it up a little bit with how much they want to draft to Twitch and leaving it open.
For now, the power of friendship prevails here in game 1. Let's see if BDS can come back in game 2. Casters, over to you.
I can't keep up. Which buzz phrase are we going? Power of leadership or power of friend? Because everybody's doing good, or is it power of friendship or back to
Elyoya and
friendship?
Alvaro.
And Myrwn, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Big props to Myrwn. That was a team game.
Here's how I see it, right? Life is like a ladder, okay?
Where are you going with this?
The carries are the ones that ultimately climb the ladder and sit atop it. But someone needs to build the foundation of the ladder. They need to hold that ladder together, and that is what Elyoya and Alvaro do. They provide the ladder for the carries to walk and climb. You see? It's a beautiful analogy, if I do say so myself.
I'm glad you self-praised there. Just in case either of us were going to roast you. You wanted to make sure that somebody you knew yourself.
Praising myself.
Well, good news is we can all excel at praising MDK for that game 1, because again, I think it's important to state how big of a turnaround that level of performance was. And while it's easy to raise criticism of BDS, certainly they did not play a perfect game. Not a perfect game would have beaten regular season MDK many times.
Yes, it's true. Yeah. It's such a massive turnaround, and I mean, I said on Euphoria that, like, sure, they played well, but they played well in their tiebreaker games against the bottom teams in the LEC, right? To be able to translate that into performance against BDS, who've been consistently a top performer, not just this split, but throughout the year, is a different challenge entirely. But so far, they've demonstrated that they can do it. And as we get into draft, let's see what the changes are.
And demonstrating thus far in an identical pick ban phase, with the Twisted Fate going to get Knocket taken away. Instead, this time around, it will be the Sejuani, setting up maybe for something different in the jungle. Not as concerned about Myrwn on the Twisted Fate.
Myrwn's TF going to be left open, sets up stuff like Gnar potentially. But my eyes are on B1. Are they going to let Tristana go through and give red side Tristana, which I feel like is completely illegal, or are they going to pick away nerfed Taliyah jungle?
I think
that is the question.
They've banned Alistair with the expectation of prioritizing
Rell.
You know,
I think it's Rell for Labrov, right?
It might, maybe.
This is most played. It's 7. Next champion in line is Nautilus, which just hit 2 after the previous game.
Is it Trist or is it Taliyah that they still want to prioritize? Oh, they are actually just going to insta-lock a Rell.
Commitment.
Wow.
So we're giving over Trist again. That's a plan, and we're going to take Corki into it once more, run it back. I have my concerns. I
don't really care. I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree with you that Trist is super strong.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the Trist was the reason why they won the game, right? I think that, you know, Drakos, you made a great point, the Analyst made a great point about how Braum did a good job of mitigating what a Twitch could do in the game, on top of the fact that Mad Lions were just very good at finding picks. They were extremely good at it. Like, the actual number of team fights we had in that game was, what, 1, 2 total in a 35-minute game? Like, I love the discipline that we saw from Mad Lions and their ability to play the map. So I want to see that from them again. The Tristana is being foregone in favor of Taliyah once again. The question is, where is this Taliyah going? The clear speed in the jungle was, of course, nerfed, but still, as a champion, still very strong. But we'll find out very soon where this goes for Mad Lions. Hang on a minute. Have we just swapped? Is that what the junglers have agreed on? Elyoya said, you know what? Let me show you how it's done, Sheo. And it's like, how about I just pick your champ that was really strong last game? Zyra Corki going to be the answer. BDS already drafting a lot of teamfight power.
Yep. I think now, do you pick Yone? That's typically the answer. We see into the Corki. Or do you like your Tristana? Of course it's Tristana. Of course.
Jackie's might bring out Yone.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But going into second phase, I think 8 for 80 carries. The best answer into Zeri, in my opinion, is Kai'Sa currently, and there it goes. After that, you have a bunch of different options. I think you could do Varus for some poke.
I mean, they'll probably just ban Jinx again. Because
yeah, that is the Ice
look
classic.
at Ice's pool, that's all he's pretty much played this split. So no reason not to continue target banning him. Meanwhile, BDS, how do they shift? Are they going to now ban the Camille along with the Yasuo? Do they think there are other bigger threats? The Twisted Fate can be taken. Maybe they will either ban the Camille or maybe they don't even worry about the Yasuo anymore. The question is, what do they even consider a safe blind right now? Will it be Renekton? Will it be Gnar? What are they thinking?
So TF sets up a few champs. It can be Cassante, it can be Renekton, like you said, and Renekton would work really well for Mad Lion's Koi as well. On top of that, Taliyah, it's a great duo. But I think when you draft double AD carry, you like a bit of frontline, so it could be a Cassante angle for them as well.
Is it time for full front to back? No more of these top lane split pushers.
Is that a Myrwn classic?
All right, all I'm going to say.
Oh, it might be actually.
All I'm going to say is I've used a very advanced method of scouting that I learned from G2 called going to lolalytics.com and looking at champions with a high win rate. Nico Top's doing pretty good.
But we've also seen it from Myrwn before. I think it was in winter that he brought it out in playoffs.
Yeah.
And so you're definitely right that we're leading towards Renekton by the looks of things.
Yeah. I think Braum would be what I take into the Rell. I don't really like the Rakan because you lose lane. So they lock that in. Great anti-engage into the Rell there. And now, what AD carry option do you have into Zeri? My options would always be Kai'Sa, and I would have locked that in earlier on.
It's so tough. I mean, Aphelios is the next hyperscaling carry. Again, Ice, one of the better Aphelios in our league, but this is a really difficult composition to play against as Aphelios. You have the wall coming in, you're an immobile carry. Tristana and the Zeri both very strong in their own right, and the Braum to block any of the potential burst damage that normally can be such a threat. Yeah,
so now, as Myrwn, do you have a classic pick that you want to pull out, want to reach down into your pool? Do you pick Cassante to lose lane gracefully but be a frontline for your team? Or do you go something like a Kennen? Kennen's really fantastic into Renekton and it's still open. Really on him, what he wants to bring to the table. Poppy as well.
Poppy an option.
I mean...
I don't like it.
I don't love it, but...
It works as engage, it works as disengage.
It's more so that when I think the primary engage on BDS is Labrov, and his only way to start a... I say only, that's probably a bit reductionist, but Poppy is good into Rell is the TLDR.
Yeah.
To pick it for that reason, I think I understand why, like, okay, sure, that's fine. But it's in the matchup itself, it's probably not going to be great. But maybe that Mad Lions want to have a little bit more agency of being able to play through the bot side of the map. Poppy is a pretty good weak side top laner. Overall, though, Mad Lions have a very similar comp to what they drafted last game. If anything, it's almost identical. The biggest difference is that they don't have the same side lane threats.
The biggest difference is that I think they have even less engage.
Yes.
They've said, what we need is more disengage. We decided Camille was too much engage.
And so they exactly, like Camille before could catch targets out, could find 1v1s. Now that's less of an option. Instead, you're going to be trying to create numbers advantage in fights by knocking someone away, potentially interrupting the engage, leveraging your range with double AD carry plus Taliyah to chip away at them from afar. Whereas I think BDS's is very straightforward. It's teamfight. There's a lot of teamfight power here.
I will say there are some champs in this game that have a really hard time functioning. And the biggest one to me is the Renekton. I think Rell can have a lot of issues as well, but playing into double AD carry, plus the disengage of Taliyah rocks, trying to dash over those is really, really difficult, especially since you're dashing into the Braum passive as well, and of course Poppy W. So is Adam, you might seem like a bit of an NPC this game, I think.
That's sad, because that guy has a side that says Chatham pick Garen. But he picks Renekton, and it's into a Poppy. So we'll see how Chad he can truly be as we get into game 2 here. Teams hitting the rift. BDS off to a surprising loss in game 1. MDK looking to keep that momentum up.
I mean, I was one of the people that said I expect our top 4 to 2-0 our bottom 4. I was not expecting MDK to play at the level that they're currently playing at. I have been pleasantly surprised. We'll see if they can maintain this momentum or if BDS can bounce back. They had a strong early game in game 1. But quite frankly, in the mid game, I felt like MDK recognized their win conditions better and executed much better than BDS did. So props to them. We'll see if they can continue that and get a 2-0 today.
So once again, we have double AD carry mid lane, which, like we said before, was incredibly volatile. And the jungler that can gank and maybe capitalize on the HP trades. For example, the Taliyah, who can do a lot more early game proactivity than the Zyra, potentially capitalize on that early game. In terms of top lane, I think this is much more Renekton favored these days, right? Because of the introduction of a rune called Absorb Life, you really mana bleed these champions as an engagement
Crash down coming in. Aphelios, of course, has sustain and range on the level 1, but not a whole hell of a lot of damage. And MDK trying to capitalize on that, getting aggressive.
I think it's really interesting, the rune choices as well. Elyoya seems to be a big fan of Electrocute. Sheo actually not going for Electrocute on the Zyra, instead going for the Comet. Has a little bit more poke damage, especially when we think later on into the game. But the advantage of Electrocute, especially on this patch, is nice trade goes in favor of MDK on the bot side, is just that the base level at early levels has increased, whereas the scaling has decreased later on. So it is an effective just burst tool, or it's stronger than it was before on the current patch.
Yeah, the damage has almost doubled from 30 to 50, I think. It's really, really powerful. So any kind of gank into the mid lane or the top lane, or where I have my eyes on, it's going to be that much more impressive.
It's going to be tricky to navigate. Thus far, Fresskowy happy to have the matchup again, this time without a Twitch or a Taliyah showing their face super early on, but will be a bit quieter, I think, as a result. Top lane, unsurprisingly, relatively a Renekton favorite, at least for the first few levels.
So, again, the strength of the Zyra is just how fast you clear on it. What happens after the first full clear is that you have like 30 seconds to run between mid and top here as this Zyra to gank. I've seen dives into redives, and even then still making your camps respawning down bot side. So if the trades go well enough top, you know, you can maybe gank Myrwn. The trades are good enough in mid lane, gank mid lane as well. You have plenty of time to decide.
Lots of options. And Sheo, again, one of the big successes of BDS this season is him on AP junglers. Need to see if he can have that high impact early game performance. For now, though, pretty quiet, pretty calm game 1. I think the pace of the previous game has thrown me off because 3 minutes feels like 5 minutes is now. Fresskowy's getting aggressive. Sheo coming in behind.
Dead. Look,
I guess he should have the reset of the rocket jump. But Labrov is there. There's really no one jump that's going to save him. Root coming through as well.
Yep. I don't think Fresskowy got the last auto to proc the bomb,
crucial.
And then didn't get the rocket jump reset. So Nuke spacing there, denying that last auto attack was really fantastic. And like we said, that fast clear, managed to gank from behind and find the kill into Fresskowy.
Fresskowy is being bullied this series, that's for sure. His early game, he's just seeing a lot of visitors. Props to BDS being able to find these advantages in the early game, and that's going to alleviate some of the trading pressure that Fresskowy's been putting down onto Duke in this laning phase as early TPs are expended. But crucially, Sheo picked up the kill. And we saw last game what Elyoya could do on the Zyra, and now it's Sheo's turn to see if he can have the same level of impact.
And in a situation where the enemy team, a lot of them going to need to come into range, the Poppy, see how Myrwn navigates the fights. Isn't really set up to be that big individual point of impact. Extended trade coming out here. Adam flashing back, anticipating a heroic charge, assuming that, but he had... Okay.
No, that has to be logic there. I think you're right. I think that he was worried that he eased in. Maybe he gets interrupted by the steadfast presence, then he gets knocked against the wall and then potentially killed. But he definitely feels like that he was paranoid about Myrwn doing something.
This is second game in a row. Someone's just backing on a ward. We saw this exact same thing from the opposite team. All right, taking their time. They've used both of their dash stop tools at the same time. Oh no, you got to coordinate the CC and the raid, guys.
I mean, he's hiding behind the wave to avoid the Taliyah Qs, but it's just a matter of time.
Goes through, heals, good damage, nice dash back. Oh, finally one tiny rock on the minefield will catch him and finish the job. A bit of a sloppy gank, but a successful one nonetheless.
Yeah, that wave state's going to be quite nasty as well. He's going to have to TP back and try and break it. Zyra is there if he wants to, and that could be a regank from Elyoya, but he chooses to recall as well. Regardless though, TP down, Myrwn's is as well, and it's just going to be relatively neutral.
Unfortunate sequence of events for Adam, ultimately.
Yeah.
He will be able to push this wave back out. He obviously has to be cautious of a regank, but that's exactly why Sheo is here, to potentially cover for that regank, provide information for his top laner, and maybe even consider a dive. The only problem is it's Fresskowy that has the control in mid. Look at Elyoya as well. He's making a beeline towards top lane. The comms are clearly, I might get dived here.
The window of opportunity very quickly closing. Elyoya just around the corner. If they want to go, they need to go now. Adam already taking a tower shot. He has level 6. He has dominance ahead of schedule. The Poppy getting cut down, but no! Oh, Sheo providing a dash out for him!
I was really skeptical that this dive would work because Poppy gets so damn tanky when she gets to low HP that you have to burst her instantly.
And now Sheo's in trouble. Fresskowy here, happy to pick up a second helping.
Early game is falling apart. MDK can convert this into the grubs as well. I mean, what a blunder. I think Sheo was trying to stay close enough to the wall to soak up XP to get level 6 as well. But he doesn't actually get the level 6. They don't quite have the damage to make the dive happen. Elyoya even flashes over the wall. I don't know if they actually succeeded it or not, but he flashed, threw down the rocks, and then Poppy used the charge, trying to set up that stun combo. Whether it connected, I didn't get to see. But the idea there, really cool. MDK off to a great start here in game 2.
I mean, ultimately, it's a great read from Elyoya, right? Seeing from base that he could be readoed with no flash and that wave stack coming in as we see the dive now. But the thing is with Poppy, she has a passive, right? She has bone plating up as well, which adds to the tankiness. Where the lower she gets,
connect, yeah.
Ah, there you go. She gets so tanky with all the percentage resistances. And that means the one-shot has to come out instantly. Otherwise, the tower's just going to mess you up.
And then Fresskowy is able to find this collapse too. Nicely done from MDK. Yeah, I mean, great comms from Elyoya and Myrwn. Like, we were talking about it prior to the gank, but the conversation was very much about, hey, I think I'm going to get dived here. And they do a good job.
And again, attention being paid. You can see here the jungle proximity last game, very high for a top laner. This game, no different, as Myrwn gets more and more support from Elyoya, which has been crucial because BDS have been thwarted now on the dive, which has turned the game back in the favor of MDK.
I mean, the question is, like, is Myrwn back? Because for the entire split, and maybe last split as well, you could argue he just wasn't performing up to the standards he was in Winter. I feel like he only performed best when he had a lot of help from Elyoya, and he acted as facilitator for Elyoya and these ganks topside, and individually, he wasn't performing well. But now,
look, 100% kill participation as jungler is 2-0-1. He has facilitated.
Okay, sure.
He has set up the deal. He has brought, the question is, can they bring it home? Because when we take a step back from this series, right? MDK, remember, because of how good they did in Winter, they have 200 championship points, which is a lot. SK, who finished first, have much, much less than that. And if they manage to get 5th and 6th, it's pretty much guaranteed that they will make season finals. And at the rate they're improving, since we saw them 2 weeks ago, they're going to be a very real threat. Now, I don't want to count my eggs before they hatch, but this is an excellent start for MDK.
It is. MDK, I think they're also a team that ride momentum very well. Once they have an advantage, they're not a slow team by any means. They showed that in their tiebreaker games where they like to accelerate where they can. And cameras on Elyoya right now. Again, I have to talk about how he is a lot of the driving force. There definitely seems to have been a shift in him as a player behind what he was doing for the team and where he's currently at.
Fresskowy taking a decent chunk of damage. Q flash from Labrov, bit telegraphed. Fresskowy able to flash out in response.
But BDS have control over the mid wave now. It means the Dragon is potentially open for the taking. We look at bot.
Nice backstepping. He's got good guns for a 1v1, but Supa's still moving up because he knows he has his jungler on the way. Elyoya now moving in. Extra health coming in. Good use of the Severmold. Nice sidestep coming in from Ice. Going to keep himself alive, but not going to be able to get much else.
Nice fancy feet. On the other side, Alvaro gets massively chunked. This could just be a dragon now for BDS.
The big advantages were that BDS have lost a lot of summoners. Oh,
nice flick. Labrov now in trouble. Supa might not have ult, but he might not need it. Elyoya grabbing yet another kill. Sheo needs to backstep. Fresskowy here waiting up at the wall. Is the unbreakable phase. They might be able to get aggressive, but Supa already coming in as well. Ulti there from the Zyra does absolutely nothing. Double kill for Elyoya.
I mean, more picks being gained for MDK. They're just punishing BDS across the map. They get the summoner spells out from Ice in the bot lane. They get the flash out from Labrov as well. We look back at this engage, and it's just a nice collapse. The HP bars are low, but it doesn't matter. The CC is good. Really nice setup from Elyoya. Really nice damage from Supa. And then with Fresskowy joining the fray as well. This Braum is just getting so much value for MDK.
Yeah. Double AD carry, all the on hit with the CC from Taliyah as well, finding a pick onto Labrov there from the bush. And I have really big concerns about BDS now and how they pilot their composition, because even whilst even, or even from ahead, it's so hard for some of the champions to get into the fight. This composition that MDK have drafted, love people coming into them, and that's all that some of the champions on BDS like to do.
That's tough. Labrov and Adam both want that engaged, and unless they're flanking, it's usually pretty telegraphed. So many tools to disrupt, to interrupt, or to stop the follow-up in the form of the Braum Unbreakable. It was clutch in game 1. It seems like it might be on the road to do the same in game 2. Adam and Myrwn. Adam still winning out in terms of gold. He was able to grab a few plates despite the early deficit. We see a fight on the top side. Ice swaps over on the guns. Labrov getting lower. Decent engage, but again, Alvaro. Unbreakable is such a good ability. It has to be the most broken basic skill in the entire game.
It's, yeah, pretty solid. And MDK are making it work. Fresskowy, is he in danger, or is he going to Tristana out of this?
He is indeed going to Tristana out, but Nuke says, no, he's not! Hey, baby! Snipes him out of midair.
Nice play there from Nuke. Someone needs to step up for BDS, and he puts the mantle on his shoulders. Gets a solo kill, and alleviates some of that pressure. Now the Grubs going to be the point of contention, but they don't have their mid laner. So MDK, they're saying, we got to back away from this one. We'll concede this for now. No dragon secured. It's looking like another late one, gentlemen.
Yep. Nuke playing so well, especially recently. I remember the last Fnatic game as well, solo killing Humanoid. Just on a tear. Recent performance, so very well played from him, finding that Q auto, flash auto.
And important that they build an advantage somewhere, right? We saw in the previous game how hard side lanes were for them to play. When you have the Renekton into the Poppy, when you have a Corki with a lead, things are, you know, a bit easier as we start to approach mid-game. Herald, 2 minutes out, both sides with 3 grubs. It's not going to be the most effective. We don't have the 4 grub buff that we saw in the previous game, but Alvaro very confident to walk up here, but is he overstepping? Nuke waiting around the corner. Knock up chain CC, but that's all that's in the tank for Labrov, and they're forced to just back away.
Braum does not care. He needs to care now, though, because Zyra is here. All right. I mean, we saw this before from MDK in the previous game. Just control the space. And by space this time, it's all about the red buff. They get the smite. The secure is down. They're happy with that one.
Elyoya is playing with so much confidence. 4-0, already has first item, so he feels confident to go towards this red buff and contest it, but this 1v1, Q damages a lot. He walks forward. On components, usually you don't see Corki do that much until he gets Triforce, but he gets the flash auto attack, and
yeah, the Q doing some serious work there for Corki. Well played by Nuke. Meanwhile, Adam, even though the early dive, the early flash didn't go his way, he's turned it around nicely. Alvaro now.
Has to be careful about stepping too far
Is he?
forward.
No, he's not in danger. He's Braum.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd be saying that. I get it now. I didn't understand why they added him to the fighting game. I get it now. I understand why he's there. This guy does not mess around. I don't know if he'll do anything in the fighting game other than block.
He does a really cool move.
Okay, because even if he just blocks, it's got to be pretty effective.
There's this like move where he goes from one side of the map to the other, like sliding on them with the shield.
Oh.
It's really, really cool.
That does sound cool.
That does sound sick. We've seen Alvaro try to replicate something similar. But now, BDS hoping to set up for a play on the bottom side, but Elyoya waiting in the darkness. Ice push back on the wall. Labrov immediately trying to get a counter engage. Excellent ulti coming in for Sheo. That might be the turn back. The Unbreakable about to fall away from Alvaro, and now he's a dead man walking. Double kill for the Zyra. BDS, nice punish.
Yeah, Elyoya making a play on side lane. 4-0, so many items, but the counter range comes in from Labrov. Managed to pull it off one shot onto that target. Great read coming in from Sheo.
Yeah, Sheo is in the perfect position to respond. His ultimate able to connect onto all 3 members, I believe. And the engage from Labrov, you'll notice that the rocks weren't able to come out in time. He flashes in, connects the engage before he has that opportunity. Airborne into root, into then the ulti, into the Zyra ulti. It's just a perfect wombo combo. Ice, I think, connects his ulti as well. And it's just, everything comes together. And this is a great demonstration of the team fighting power of BDS. A lot of crowd control with their composition, a lot of AoE damage. So if they can find those fights, it's going to be hard for MDK to execute. But the question is whether or not they can find the fights that they're looking for.
And part of the reason I think BDS prioritized the Zyra in a game like this, because while in theory, you know, you can get a lot out of the Taliyah, the wall, the mobility. If people walk into the Zyra, you are guaranteed to do so much work. 3-2-1 now the scoreline. The entire top side for BDS suddenly finding themselves with a lead. 2K advantage, getting bigger. Ice not going to be threatened much here. Labrov shadowing, but should just be able to walk up with 1 or 2 autos, courtesy of the shock from Poppy. Base damage is good, but not that good. Nuke, though, now in trouble as once again MDK are fishing for picks. Alvaro there to body block the damage and a shutdown into Supa's back pocket.
Alvaro making picks again on this Braum, finding them onto Nuke in the mid lane. I feel like I've seen this over and over again this entire series. Going to convert that into now in the Rift Herald.
But can they convert into the Rift Herald is my question. You look at the minimap, Adam is making his way up, has the TP available. Supa's only on 50% HP. Poppy's in a good position to collapse, zoning Ice away from the fight.
Yeah.
It's a tense situation.
Myrwn can create numbers advantage with that ultimate if he chooses to.
BDS moving down 3K. Hex Flash going over the wall. MDK pulling back. They cannot finish before resets. Labrov now engaging Adam right there. He should just be able to double dash in. Flash in immediately. Culling the Meek. Looking to devastate the MDK backline, but the double AD carries are still up. Supa and Fresskowy not too strong yet. Just going to be forced off of the objective.
Adam makes his presence known in the fight and finds a really good angle. Ice was getting soloed off by Myrwn, which made me think, oh, maybe it's going to be difficult. BDS won't have the damage, but the Renekton found his way onto the backline. Another nice engage from Labrov, and you can see why this Rell was taken away from Labrov in the first game. His most played champion of the split, and he's making it work.
Yeah. Myrwn on this Poppy was zoned off. He couldn't follow up to be there to interrupt Labrov's dash, but now, potential extension on the play.
Myrwn just wants to be topside, I suppose. Fresskowy should be able to knock down this tower, but might have to give his life to do so. One extra auto is going to dash back and use the ultimate to walk away, but has flash as well, so he'll be just fine.
So we kind of reset, wait for the next objective. Dragon is available on the map. Supa needs to go back to base as Nuke is already here. Ice pushing out the mid wave means that BDS do have advantage in terms of control over the map right now. Their eyes are set in this bottom tower as Labrov tries to provide cover. Ice should be able to get the push on mid, which means they can then move into river first. The vision already being cleared out, and Fresskowy also has to go back to base. Of course, he does have the TP, but the point is that BDS is first to this objective. I don't know if they feel confident enough to start it, though. Yeah. See, Renekton has a TP advantage over Poppy, and I feel like BDS should feel confident to just start the objective and leverage the fact that Adam can get there ahead of Myrwn.
Yeah, Adam's trying to run him down now with the Conqueror and the red buff. He does have back cleaver too, so it's possible.
Autos. It's going to take a lot of time, but the dominance indicates he's trying to make it happen. Gets extra rage. TP now coming in. Adam going to dash through and just dash out again. Gets that summoner spell essentially for free as long as he can escape, but Elyoya is here to make sure it's not that simple. With the minefield and Myrwn, there should just be no way. Flick back connects. Nice side lane punish, but it's going to cost so much from the side of MDK because in the meantime, BDS are making the play happen in the mid lane. The Herald already charging. Supa's going to ulti. It's going to take Alvaro out of the equation. The charge now coming in, and BDS continuing the pressure. Supa trying to clear the wave desperately. The mid lane tower still standing for an extra moment. BDS desperate to knock it down. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Fresskowy keeps up the pressure.
It's a good response from BDS because they secured the mid tower, they secured the bot tower, and they unlocked the dragon as well. Exchanging that for just your top laner when you even got a kill onto Alvaro, BDS is more than happy with how things played out. That's going to be the first dragon of the game. 18 minutes in, we're looking at a very late Dragon Soul once more. But MDK, they just kind of had to respond to the pressure that Adam was putting down on the top side of the map, and it ended up costing them a lot.
Yeah. Supa, though, not afraid to step forward. Ice forced to use the Ghost here, just a backstep. Scared of the potential flip coming in from Elyoya. Poor Dragon. No focus, no attention.
It is interesting. Like, these teams know what they like, right? They really don't care about Dragons. And I think what we're going to get is these 20-minute Baron contests again, where full topside vision is managed, and it's going to be about starting this, trying to find a pick using these vision pockets, and turning onto the Nash. Both of these comps have double AD carries once again, and Nash is just going to fall really quickly. The
biggest difference you're seeing between Game 1 and Game 2 is exactly what we talked about in the draft, though, and that's the absence of the Camille. Earlier, it was Myrwn who, even though he was put behind early, could still generate that threat on a side lane, and it was never really addressed. Eragon made a great point where I think BDS could have leveraged Twitch, shadowing Adam in a side lane, potentially looking for picks or even nuke, but they didn't really do that, so he was left unchained to do whatever he wanted on a side lane. He found a lot of great flanks and angles in the fights. However, this time around, it's the Renekton that's putting this pressure down. It's the Renekton that they're struggling to manage, as Nuke just kind of trades farm back and forth with Fresskowy, so BDS have a lot more control and options on the map this time around.
I will say they've traded Camille's ability to find flanks and angles for even better frontline, and when I look at both of these team comps, I just look at the frontline difference. It's night and day. Braum Poppy is way, way tankier than anything that Renekton can build. The same with Labrov. So if this ever goes to late game, you know, if we get another 35-minuter, I don't think that BDS are going to be able to hold a candle to the front line of MDK.
It will be tough. We'll have to find good angles for the Renekton. Potentially clutch engages from Labrov. He's made it happen before, but MDK thus far unfazed. Gold 2K in the favor of BDS. That lead split pretty evenly across the team, but important to note that a lot of the main carries are on 2 items. It looks like potential recall coming from Elyoya could allow him to get his second. So the gold lead functionally not that different in terms of itemization for this next fight, but Ice conveniently, or incredibly well timed, excellent guns to start an objective. Something MDK are going to have to respect.
2 items across the board. I think this is the strongest that BDS are going to get in this game. I don't think they outscale, and now is when I would like to see them pull the trigger. I think they agree. You can see Adam already shifting up towards top side, opening through top to try and find a pick here. They do have a lot of single target bursts if they find a stun, but this is where he's at his strongest. He has a Sterix Black Cleaver completed. He's not getting any better than this.
I'm hoping to find the angle. Scuttle Crab instantly deleted. MDK has to be careful as they walk through the
Labrov.
Labrov ready to find the flank. Ice losing the chakram is going to hurt his damage output. Labrov, it doesn't seem like they want to pull the trigger here. Happy to just have mid for
Hard to
IO.
follow that. Sheo was a little too far away. Could have been a good angle, but that might have all have been just looked cool.
I mean, root on the Labrov, you have what, 8-9 second window before Unbreakable is back up?
A lot of the poke coming out from Sheo for the time being. Leveraging those plants to chip away.
It's so frustrating because even if Alvaro burns his E, Poppy's just standing there, ready to body block again. There's a Warmogs on that Braum, he's full health.
Look at Elyoya, he's on the side, he's hovering, Nuke just W'd.
Nuke W forward means he's not going to have it to get out. The TP coming in just to make sure that he is safe, and Elyoya now the one who needs to retreat. Labrov taking his time, knowing he cannot afford to burn his engaged tools too early. Fresskowy shadowing, waiting in the darkness. Shows face for just a moment. Supa ready to come over the wall. BDS think they found them in the choke. Alvaro forced to ult. BDS incredibly patient.
But look at the disengage from MDK, even stronger than what they had in game one. Taliyah is a very difficult champion to follow. You've got the Poppy, you've got the, well, just all of Braum's kit. And BDS can't quite find the engage that they're looking for.
I think BDS were trying to intentionally bait forward the Taliyah and then have Adam TP in to capitalize on that. That was a very obvious telegraphed kind of W forward on the Corki. You don't really do that in side lane unless you see where the jungler is. So they're trying to play with these mind games in order to find a pick and turn it around and then start Nash afterwards. They really have urgency to make a play on these item thresholds.
But all they got was a TP out of amp.
Yep.
No summoners were used, the dragon spawns in 40 seconds. It's obviously not a major objective to contest for right now. But I very much agree with you, like, Aphelios can be scary. One of my big concerns with Aphelios is, like, his range is very inconsistent depending on what guns he has and how comfortable he actually is to be able to hit onto his opposition. When you contrast that to Tristana, Zeri, and a Taliyah, they just have so much range, Myrwn.
That extra CC, a lot of damage. Ulti now going to follow. Myrwn forced to flash.
Does have Warmogs, so those are some tools used for a flash onto Myrwn. No ultimate now for Sheo on this team
The
fight.
gold advantage at the bottom of your screen you can see is in favor of BDS across the board, but it doesn't feel that way in the game. Like, it's not really amounting into that much more control. We did talk about how this Renekton on a side lane is creating more pressure, but now that the TP is gone from Adam, he's not able to generate that pressure. So it's just a constant back and forth, as Eragon was saying, a lot of the vision investment towards the top side of the map. Dragon being soloed out, that's going to be picked up by Nuke.
MDK can now step up to threaten the Baron, but they don't really
But this is what they did last game. You control the space, look for picks.
Yeah. Tier 2, though, going to be the cost, but Fresskowy doesn't have the wave to finish it off, and Adam ready to cover if he needs to, waiting to see multiple members of MDK before he steps up.
I think BDS, their only option is to force a fight as 5 and plays as 5 because they can't play side versus the global threat of Taliyah. Poppy will just hold Renekton in the side lane, and then Renekton also loses to Tristana. So they really are out of options. They just have to try.
The fight. I really like their team fighting comp, but MDK just won't give it to them. They literally was like, no, we won't give you the 5v5.
And the problem is their damage just sticks so much better, right? Adam getting poked out, yes, he can start to sustain.
Wait, what if Labrov gets caught?
Oh no.
Good. Excellent knockup. Instantly combo denying anything else. Myrwn could try to stop the escape tools. 2-3, looking for 4 on the stacks. Fresskowy going in to try to finish the kill. Should just be able to get it from over the wall. Now getting out to safety. That's the pick MDK we're looking for. Alvaro forced to flash. BDS still with 4 members up, but they lose their support.
They finally find it, the pick. They are battered and bruised, but Warmogs, double
Warmogs meta
to the front line, and Alvaro and Myrwn can just heal that back up. Of course, that's going to be a little interrupted there, but MDK now have control around the Baron. They're making BDS uncomfortable. They're going to prioritize stealing away camps and looking for more picks.
I'm really surprised they don't just try to heal it with Warmogs and instantly start Nash. They do it so quickly.
That's what I was expecting, yeah.
So I'm, really surprised about that. They have a Taliyah plus double AD carry. They one-shot that, but it was only one
continue
dead.
to play cautious, it seems. They don't want to run the risk of starting the Baron. I guess they're worried about the fact that it's still a low death timer for Labrov, so he is able to get back out on the map relatively quickly. But also, some key items are picked up once we get back. You'll see Labrov trying to clear out vision, gets caught out. Really nice flick back from Elyoya. And he gets chased down. Fresskowy, he's thinking, oh, I can prop the Braum passive, but then he gets stunned up. Then he gets very scared. A nice flash, along with the Poppy ultimate to knock the Renekton away, means that he's able to find that kill. Still on the replay, now we're back. But look at that itemization for Fresskowy. Infinity Edge picked up for the Trist. And maybe that's what MDK were waiting for. They wanted to get that item pick up before now feeling confident to look for more.
3 items incredibly powerful for Fresskowy. 3 items, of course, for Nuke on the opposite side, but Corki more that mid-game threat. Aphelios would be happy to have a third here. It's all going to be about upfront damage, so he's not doing too much. Wall there. Elyoya immediately going to jump off. It's Ice who is isolated, but there's not going to be the follow-up. Wall angle doesn't really allow for it, and BDS actually the ones with priority over the Baron pit for now.
They really are trying to force fights with these item advantages. They are pushing top as well now, so they can run it into the river as someone has to catch that wave. MDK can just take re-control of this.
Myrwn, as long as he's in that jungle, he's such a massive threat. There's just so many walls. It's so free to get the stun. Follow-up is there as well. Elyoya and Alvaro in the area. The amount of chain CC from the Braum combined with the Poppy. Tough for any team to deal with as MDK get mid-prio, knock down the tier 1. Once again, just return to threatening the Baron. Unfortunately for them, the Scuttle Crab is there. But Alvaro still hovering in the darkness. Blue Trinket spots him out this time around. Ice, excellent guns for the fight. The knockup is there from Alvaro. Now trying to retreat, but Fresskowy off on the side. Myrwn buying as much space as he possibly can. Mormog's going to need a lot of time. 8 seconds, timer ticking down before Myrwn starts healing up again.
Base and TP if you want. Like, just look at the HP of the carries on MDK. It's all full. They're not worried. Adam being chipped away, Labrov being chipped away. They don't have the same sustain.
Plus 111,
yeah,
plus 111.
MDK can play they can play time, right? BDS doing the smart thing here, trying to put pressure on mid, knowing that it's difficult for MDK to gain access there. I feel like BDS have to do something like force the Baron, to force MDK into within range of them, of their engage. But we talk about limited engage, you're very reliant on Labrov. And in the draft we were saying, is this Poppy pick really going to be enough? It might just be mitigating everything that BDS can do to actually start the fights that they want.
Yeah, I will say that there was a small window there where Labrov could have pulled the trigger. W was used defensively to try and run away with the move speed, but they had Ice split pushing in the mid lane. So they're playing this kind of two-pronged attack, attacking mid lane towers, whilst kind of half committing to the Baron fight.
It's part of the reason why I think we see champions like the Jinx banned away, obviously the ranged reliability as well as the Kai'Sa, because they don't have that AD carry for Ice who can immediately reliably follow up. The good news for the side of BDS is now that they have Lord Dominic, Myrwn isn't quite so scary. We saw in the mid lane like 4 auto attacks with multiple shurikens. He took maybe a 10th of his health. Now it's going to be a little bit of a different story, at least. A little bit more threat onto that front line, but BDS still struggling.
Sheo?
Gold lead has disappeared. Sheo taking a large chunk of damage. Ice going to find the root there.
Hey, at least you traded back half HP with Alvaro, right? Oh, wait a minute.
No Warmogs on a Zyra.
Why do I feel like this is just an infomercial for Warmogs?
I mean, it's really strong. I mean, look, Alvaro back to full HP and the Baron's been started.
Does have 12k, not a lot of damage. Adam already trying to stack Fury. Again, nobody can dash forward until Myrwn pushes W and Elyoya pushes E. BDS, though, still trying to take space.
Labrov is looking for the angle, but Myrwn is just kind of tracking him. He's ready to interrupt the engage.
They're just posturing, though. Look at the mid pings. They want the half play the mid wave once again.
Will do a lot of damage if MDK group. Nice root.
It's a tense moment. BDS are looking for the fight. They know that this could be it. Elyoya on the flank, though. The wall?
The wall is going to be big. Myrwn trying to find the knockback. The rest of the fight going to fizzle. Ulti from Sheo to try and disengage, but MDK, again, I think still coming out on top. They don't lose too much. Flash from Sheo used on the side of BDS as well as his ultimate.
But now BDS are the ones benefiting because they're the ones that get the push in mid. They'll secure the tower. The longer the BDS can keep MDK here, the better.
Pressure's on now. MDK forced to start the objective because Ice can threaten on the
Labrov.
next wave. Adam, what can they do? Labrov on the flank. He will be spotted by MDK. What is the call? They need so much discipline for MDK. BDS descending. Pressure on them to get into the pit, but instantly Fresskowy off to the side to try and deny the engage. They only managed to find one. Myrwn still standing tall. Alvaro blocking as much as he can, but Ice is untouched. His ulti goes completely wide, and now the follow-up is just not there. Supa ready once again to take over. 2 kills already coming through. Maybe this time around he'll be able to grab the penta, but BDS retreating well, staying grouped, not going to give that opportunity for any more kills to go across.
They turn on to Labrov, who was on the flank. You could see Nuke's plan there, just to purely turn on him. But now you're seeing the weaknesses of this composition. Renekton tries to dash forward, but he has to dash back out over to Taliyah rocks. He just ends up CC'd and dies. It's incredibly difficult, despite all that attrition damage on that mid lane turret. It doesn't matter, the Baron's going to go to MDK.
A nice idea from BDS is snuffed out by the execution of MDK. I was not expecting... Well, I was expecting a 2-0. I was not expecting it to come from the side of MDK. They have been performing this composition to perfection, and they couldn't stop the Labrov flank. He's able to get on top of Supa. He's able to chain CC a bunch of them together. And you think on this engage, oh, that looks good. But then the initial target dies. But then as they disengage, as you highlighted, he stuns himself. Look at the damage that they've taken on the backline. Meanwhile, this front line of MDK is still very healthy. Fresskowy, not a drop of damage. Just very well played. They tank the initiation incredibly well. And while this has been a very Baron-centric series, to be honest, it's very easy to fumble around that objective because you have to play the fight well. And credit to MDK, they've been able to do it in both games of this series so far.
Definitely have. Sheo, Root not going to hit onto Myrwn, but won't be able to find the angle for the wallbang. And now pressure being set up mid lane as well as bottom lane. Myrwn doing the thing that Poppies love to do, which is you just charge the ulti. If you don't use it, it's like 15-second cooldowns. So you just keep charging it. Just keep threatening the potential for the disengage, getting extra space for Fresskowy to knock down the tier 2, but now Elyoya laying down the wall. And once again, more and more standing gold going into the pockets of MDK. 2K lead, just about looking to extend it more. And crucial that they do, because while they have been getting objectives like the Baron and matching and grubs, it's 3 Drakes for BDS, and that will be a threat after this Baron fades away.
I mean, that is the question, right? Can BDS secure the 4th dragon, despite, in my opinion, the compositional advantage that MDK have, as well as the gold lead? In terms of frontline, I think it's really, really rough. I don't think they're ever going to be allowed to secure it.
MDK setting up for the final tier 2. Should just be theirs. Again, 1.5 minutes left on the Baron. Plenty of time, plus 3.1k Red Bull Baron. Power play. Much different than the first Baron they took in our previous game. BDS, I don't think there's much of a play here. Maybe a TP angle you can see. Corki hovered for a bit extra time. Nuke just going to finish off that item. So tier 2 drops. MDK, I don't think are in a great position to go for anything else, so instead just going to recall, get the items, reset on the map.
I think there's a thin win con that BDS have, which is a small range advantage when it comes to Corki rockets, as well as Zyra plants just shooting random pellets at the enemy team, because they definitely do outrange Zyra and Tristana. But whether that will amount to anything, I just don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, the other problem is Warmog's armor, right?
Yeah.
Why is it called armor when it only builds out of health? And why does it just let you ignore all poke forever? Well, it shouldn't, realistically, but again, there's no engage on either side, really.
It is a classic video game trope down, Drakos, to have armor be in quotation marks, okay?
Yeah, fair. That's fair. Plenty of good examples.
Right now, they're just moving it, like they're doing exactly what they did last game, and that's the thing that surprised me the most. The level of consistency we're seeing from MDK is something that didn't exist in the regular season.
They got the red buff.
Reminder, this team went 1-8. Like, they struggled. I say 1-8, sorry, they went 2-7. 2-7.
2-7.
And then tiebreakers.
And then that's 2 tiebreakers.
Yes. They beat Rogue at the end.
They beat Rogue, and then they beat Rogue again, and then they beat Vitality.
Yeah,
which,
my apologies.
again, incredible in the moment, great, and then you take stock of where those teams finish, and you're like, oh, maybe
exactly. So that's why my expectations are like, okay, cool. They had good games against the 2 bottom teams. They've firmly cemented themselves in 8th place. Congratulations. And so I expected this to be a very one-sided playoffs where we would have our top 4 teams moving forward and our bottom 4 teams having to fight out in the lower bracket. And MDK said, screw you, Vedi. We ain't doing that.
Yeah, it was really about you.
Yeah,
it was actually that moment where you doubted them.
Yeah.
I
mean, when you eventually invite that, because now BDS can't come back on your 4A, right? I mean, that checklist ain't being ticked.
Look, all I'll say is last time we invited Supa on, he's just getting flamed forever now. So I don't know if they're going to be as eager as last time.
That's fair. But I mean, the main point is they're playing incredibly well. I like how they're executing their drafts. Let's see if they can close this out. The TP.
Myrwn TPing. Okay, creative angle here.
Oh, it is a good angle.
Unspotted, but there's no walls for him to knock anyone into. Watch the wall. Ice for now untouched. He's got good things for the AoE all, but the sustained damage is not going to be real. Excellent knockup, but Sheo now trying to turn it back. Sheo going golden. Supa on the back line, completely untouched, and once again, the Zeri ready to take over. Adam tries to save the day, but the knockback from the Trist is there now.
Oh, red buff.
Is it the solo bolo? 1, 2, unbreakable. It's 2x KO, baby. He's kicking the shit out of him. Let's go, Alvaro.
That's 4 dead on the side of BDS. Myrwn with a phenomenal flank. He's able to lock up Ice. The follow-up damage is flawless, and MDK making the upset happen. A 2-0 over BDS.
The dragons with lava, but we managed to find the team fight to the side of MDK from behind as well. They've shown they can carry out leads from ahead, and now from behind here. They can pick up this next Drake because it's actually not going to end.
I spoke with too much big.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that they would watch game there.
I was hyped.
Renekton.
Like, this is done. But it's not done. There's an angle, and of course, the later we get, the more power there is. But
this whole flank is all about Myrwn.
Yeah, I mean, look at Myrwn on this flank. I was watching for the wall from Elyoya here. I wanted to see if they did the combo, pushing into it. I think they tried. Fortunately, it doesn't quite connect, but still, Myrwn's flank here, double knock-up, it's huge.
It's such a great play. Labrov tries to get the engage, but immediately BDS are forced to play defensively because they see the flank happening. And then Alvaro finds himself, in quotation marks, a solo kill.
It counts.
It counts.
He just he's much better at footsies, you know, just outplays Elyoya in the 1v1. You know? It's like Daigo versus some guy, you know?
Some guy.
I'm kidding. It's so disrespectful to add especially because it's not, you're right, it's not at all a solo kill. Entirely a meme. BDS, of course, only 3K behind at a very late stage point in the game. 4 seconds till Baron. They are not out of this whatsoever, but MDK have been consistently executing better. Ice, the guns, blue gun, the ulti could be big. You can see Myrwn not as tanky as he once was if they group too closely. Now that the E is down, keep your eyes on Ice. Cannot stress enough how much damage this Aphelios ult will do against a group team.
Good damage onto Elyoya, though. He's not going to be able to heal that back up now. BDS forced the Baron.
Ice is the only carry with flash available in this entire game.
Back onto two carries. It's Sheo in the pit, ulting to try to give himself a bit more space. A wall to stop the BDS carries from getting involved, but still Watch Ice strong for a little bit more time. Ice off to the side, excellent damage to finish one carry. Now trying to follow up. Severum Q coming through the onslaught. Myrwn is not tanking anymore. The 80 carries. Nuke and Ice back to back, bringing the game back for BDS.
Ice, that entire fight, had blue gun ready and they were all huddled. He got ulted away by Myrwn on this Poppy, but then he ults over the wall. He finds it onto Supa and absolutely blows them up.
A single play might have just swung this game in favor of BDS. Keep your eyes on Ice. As he gets knocked back with this Poppy ult, at this point I thought, oh, this is a one team fight once again for MDK. A nice wall from Elyoya to separate them from the fight as well. The target focus, I think, gets a bit mixed here as Labrov still gets the ultimate down, but then look at that ulti from Ice doing so much damage. We go back to live, and they're looking to end the game.
It's over.
BDS looking to bring it back. Alvaro can block all of the autos if they don't split up. Blocks one, but Nuke steps off to the side. He's happy to bring us to a game 3, BDS!
And just like that, a single fight was all it took. MDK were in control of the whole game, but a single fight was all BDS needed. We're going to game 3.
It wasn't around Soul. It was on the 17th Baron fight, but they managed to find it, and I'm so surprised and shocked MDK managed to pull that away.
I have no idea what happened in those final moments. I know, though, that it was sick as hell, and if you want to see more of it, stick around. We're going to go to a quick break. When we return, game 3 right around the corner.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Laure!
Hey, shouldn't you be on stage right now?
Hey, you got a pick.
Tom Kent?
What? I was not expecting this.
And a crazy off-meta pick that secured you the win. How did you come up with it?
I just listened to my gut.